So I'm in the middle of editing a video from yesterday, and it's about the possible or the hype around the possibility of some kind of World War III nuclear event. And in between the time I shot it yesterday until today, it's just ramped up twofold. And again, it's like you see a lot of people that chiming in about how base Putin is fighting global homo. He's not fighting anything. They're all global homo. They're all one thing, man. I mean, it's you know, it's weird. Like you see things like this, and you're like, well, I'm like, how do people not see this? Like it's all right there. They don't really hide anything. Nothing's hidden. It's just you got to be able to see it. That's like the weird thing about it. That's like the tricky thing about it. Like I was just looking a little bit at the Queen's death ritual that they did from the other day, and a thing that you got to remember too is it's a ritual for them, you know, but it's also a spell for you. You know, they know a lot of people. They have a lot of eyes on these things, whether it's a Olympic Games opening, some kind of major event, shit, even the Super Bowl halftime shows. When they know people are going to have a lot of eyes on things, they use spellcraft. And, you know, to try to, for whatever reason, to make people believe something, or to let the, a lot of times it's like, yep, we're the initiate, kind of, from their perspective, and they're trying to do some kind of spell on us that we take part in by viewing it, and that's concurrent with it also being some kind of ritual for them. But it's just funny, like, that's the thing, like, it's not hidden. Like, people think about occult stuff and they're like, oh, it's, you know, this hidden secret stuff, super fucking squirrel stuff, but it's not. It's all, they just show you. You just have to know what you're looking at. And just by glancing at a few pictures and a few video clips from the Queen's thing, they have the goat, you know, they get the Masonic checkerboard, all the insignias and the symbolism. I just don't care. Like, years ago, I'd be like, all right, I want to figure this out. Like, what exactly are they doing? I just don't, it's like, it's so tiresome now. Like, it's just so lame. It's the same tricks. They're not even tricks. They're not really trying to trick you. They're just showing you. But if you don't know what you're looking at, it doesn't mean anything to you. You don't see it. I think we're almost at critical mass as far as seers, people that are going to see it. There's always the idea that, oh yeah, this is, the people need to wake up to this, and they'll see this one. This is the one that's going to make them realize what's going on. No, I think anyone that's going to be on that ship or not on the ship has kind of sailed off. We're the ones on land. The ship of crazy people is already went out to sea. You're not going to get a lot of new converts, and that shouldn't really be your goal. I mean, maybe in the beginning when you're just coming into this stuff, understanding this stuff, been shown something. You want other people to know because it's like so mind-blowing. And it is, it's fucking mind-blowing. But I think the reason why, because I mean, sometimes I think like, wow, why haven't more people like just cracked up, you know, gone into the fetal position? And I think it's because of the way the revealing works. It's not, and also because of this, it's harder to share information with others. It's a cumulative effect. It's like you'll see a little something, and then you'll notice something else, and you'll start noticing more and more. So it takes a while to get to a level where you can look at the Queen's funeral and just be like, oh yeah, that's that, that's this, that's, you know. So there isn't like some kind of shock thing where no one's going to look at it and be wakened up. No one's going to be wakened up. No one's going to, you know, wake up from the spell just by seeing one of those things. It's a process, as with the veil dropping is also a process when you, just by virtue of the sound of the name, the dropping of the veil, it's almost like, in my mind, and many others, I'm sure, you just see like a curtain and like the curtain's dropping and ta-da, but it's not like that. It's like a curtain, a veil that begins bleeding through at just different points, at different random points. It gets thinner, and you'll notice something down here, and then you'll notice something up here. It reveals itself in that way. It's not like an actual like curtain drop type of thing, even though it is. It reveals itself slowly. It's another cumulative effect kind of process, and that's what makes it hard to describe what you're seeing or experiencing to other people, even if they are on the road anyway and have seen or experienced things themselves. Like, I was just hanging out with one of my friends at her work, and she was showing me these selfies she'd done, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna show you something, and she's like doing this build up, like, all right, these pictures I took and like the background of them and where they're from, when they're from, and they're really selfies, excuse me, and she's like, now look in the eyes, and I'm just, as soon as I grab them, I'm like, oh yeah, there's face there, one guy looking here, what looked like demonic entities in the reflection of her eyes. They're probably just standing right in front of her, but you can't see them. Even when they occupy a space next to you, or the same space you're in, unless you can see their frequency, they can just walk around you and jump up and down in front of you. And that's basically what's happening. When people used to tell me that, these things are everywhere, I'd always think like allegorically, like, yeah, there's the demons are around. No, it's literal. These things are there. Again, Roger in KC, he's got a lot of great photographic evidence. He'll do just landscapes where he'll circle all the different entities that you can see, in the photograph with certain, with the gain turned up, or certain shaders and stuff. You can see them, It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, but again, I mean, you could show that to someone just like you could show someone her selfie picture, and they'll look at it and just be like, they won't see those things in her eyes. They'll see shapes, they'll see other things. So it's learning about it, understanding it, and experiencing these things. It's a process. It takes time. And it's not like just because you can see one thing, you can see everything. Like my friend Jay sends me a lot of stuff. I was just going through it tonight. He was at a game, a sports ball game, football or something. And he's like, yeah, check this out. And he's showing me, he's included some photographs of the crowd. And I had to send him an email, like, what are you seeing in this third picture? Because I can see stuff in there, but he sees different stuff. A lot of what he's seeing is based in light, like light-based stuff, because that's how a lot of entities travel. Electricity, light. I mean, that's how they do it. That's how they move around. I don't really stand, but yeah. Other people would look at those pictures and see nothing, and they may have seen other things. It's almost like how the Mandela effect kind of works. Some people see parts of it. Some people don't see any of it. That thing is still developing. There's always new stuff all the time that's popping out. You know, it was interesting at first. Now it's just kind of silly. It's just silly. Like some of the changes are so bizarre, you know. And it doesn't. The weird thing, the odd thing about it is, I don't know how much of a phenomenon it is in non-English speaking countries, because a lot of the ones I've seen are always like American pop culture. I mean, the body changes are certainly universal, and the landmass differences and those kind of things are universal. But you know, never run into like a South Korean guy with like all this stuff, you know, showing the brands that have changed in, you know, his world or something. It just seems to be, and that could be because I'm ghettoized, internet-wise, into an area. They set you off into these little areas when you think you're talking to the world. You're not. You know, they've already set you up in a limited reach of people that you're going to be able to interact with based on stuff that, you know, you've done in the past, whether they're following the advertising or they're following like just your interests. I mean, you think of something like Facebook, all the information that they put out there, and they ghettoize you in a normie sense so that they can advertise to you better. But that's just like an explanation for normies, you know. It's like it's a lot more insidious than that. And I was doing it too, you know. And MySpace was around. I was like, yeah, you know, I like Reservoir Dogs and New Rose by the Dam. It's like, it's weird. There was this thing, because I've been on the internet since 1995. I got my first website in like 96. And there was always this feeling of anonymity, and I don't know why. You just always kind of figure, well, no one's going to see me. You know, I'm out here kind of, but they do see you, and they put you in a certain area with other people who have similar interests or advertising, you know, target demographics. And that's happened over time. Like, the internet is so different now than it was back then. Back then, in the before time, in the long ago, you really did feel like it was a Wild West kind of thing. Now, like, the internet you're looking at isn't the same one like your neighbor looks at. And and this is another thing a lot of people don't realize too, and it's a pain in the ass if you have like, you know, a YouTube thing like I do. Your phone internet is different than your PC internet. In the case of like, for example, the channel, a lot of times I don't see comments on the phone. And numbers are different from your phone than they are on, you know, a computer, on a tabletop, or even what the fuck you call those things? Notebook? No. Laptop. Yeah, it's all different. And it kind of gives you a skewed, and this happens too, like I'll go into a room, like a live stream or something, and I'll be like, oh, there's only, you know, 100 people watching or something. And you're seeing like all these names that aren't in yours. And you're like, or less than that. I'll go into a room sometime and there's like 50 people. But the chat is showing all these names I don't see. And a lot of times they'll be like, yeah, we have you know, 1,000 people watching. And on my phone, it's like 50. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's all compartmentalized now. So you're not, when you're doing something on the internet, you're not speaking to the world. So with that in mind, that's probably why I'm not seeing a lot of like cultural Mandela effects that are different from the ones in the West, because I'm ghettoized into that area. And I understand some countries have a completely different setup, like China does, but Within, like, air quotes, free countries, it's a different setup, it's a different situation. I don't know, I think it feels like early part of the century it changed. Up until like even 1999, there was a bit of a Wild West thing. It's broadband. When broadband came in to a lot of areas, things started to change. So yeah, I mean, we're all ghettoized into these little things. Same thing with social media, same thing with Twitter. When you tweet something, it's not going out to Twitter, it's going out to your group of people that you've kind of been put in with. It's all about division and control, you know? But yeah, so in my little ghetto, it seems like everybody thinks there's going to be some kind of nuclear exchange or some kind of nuclear event. And that would be the perfect thing for them, to be able to then do a lot of the stuff they want to do. And, you know, whatever. I mean, it's all a story. You're just watching it play out. Just keep in mind that none of it's real. The only thing is real about it is you, your connection with God, people around you. Quiet reflection is the way out. Until a better plan comes along. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.